is where we fuel the entrepreneur spirit
with words, quotes, and phrases.
So make sure you tune in every first and third Saturday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern.
You don't want to miss it.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Welcome to 60 Second Entrepreneur. And here is where we fuel the entrepreneur spirit with words, quotes, and phrases in 60 seconds or less. I am your co-host, Lyve Min.
And I am Matilda, your motivational wellness coach, here to motivate you on your entrepreneurship journey.
So let's talk a little bit about what is 60 Second Entrepreneur. Well, Matilda and I, we decided to collectively get together and launch this platform to fuel aspiring entrepreneurs, seasoned entrepreneurs, and also maybe if you're a startup, you've been in business 12 months or less, because as entrepreneurs, we're always giving so much of ourselves, right? So much of ourselves. We sacrifice family time, personal time, our finances. It seems like we have to pay for everything just to build our businesses. So we decided to launch this platform as our way of contributing and giving back to our community. Matilda? The sponsors.
And I want to give a special thanks to Ned and Jack for an amazing opportunity to be able to motivate and encourage everyone on this amazing global platform, Status Network. I also want to thank our sponsors, Shawnee D, Why I Care.
Shout out to Shawnee D.
Shawnee, shout out. I also want to shout out Dr. Elliot Helfin with Reality Technology Consulting. I want to also thank Antonio Boyd at our Success Atlanta Fitness, Sharnice Jackson, our makeup artist. We want to thank you.
Thank you.
And also Shai Santiago with Learn a Language for Fun.
Shai, thank you,
We want to thank you all for the support and for the opportunity to be here with you.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about how this platform is going to work. Like we said, 60 Second Entrepreneur, we're here to fuel the entrepreneur spirit with words, quotes, or phrases in 60 seconds or less. So for each show, there will be a quote that will be revealed, and then for 60 seconds, Matilda and I will kind of go back and forth with some tips or maybe some experiences that we've had based around the quote, all right? So as we're going back and forth, for those of you at home, go ahead and chime in and share with us. Maybe the quote will stir something within you that you can share on your live feed with us and also with everyone else watching, right? So now we're going to go ahead and get ready to reveal the quote for today. Okay. And the quote for today is going to be, when I first got in business, I made a lot of bad decisions. I'll say that again, because many of us have experienced this. When I first got in business, I made a lot of bad decisions. By Damon John. All right.
You have 60 seconds.
You have 60 seconds. Timer's up. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we got 60 seconds.
When I first started business, I made a lot of bad decisions. Setting budget to operate the business.
Well, for me, I definitely invested money with a company and for me to be in this collaborative book. The book never came out. Bad decision.
I wanted to serve everyone and didn't have documents on how to serve and underbid it.
Yep.
Poor decision.
Yeah. I spent money on everything that didn't directly impact my bottom line, and I ended up going broke. Bad decision.
Going around in a circle for scheduling, having different catering in different areas, and didn't search my geographical area. Poor decision.
The activities in my business, and this business is actually the family brand movement. There were a lot of activities in the business that made people think that it was a non-profit when it's actually a for-profit. So those were a lot of bad decisions on my part.
What poor decisions have you all made?
Another bad decision that I made was spending money on the wrong people, thinking that it would help to increase my bottom line and increase my business exposure. Bad decision.
Another decision that I made was overbooking without looking at schedules.
Bad decision. All right. So I think we actually went over the 60 seconds. I was waiting for the timer to come up to make sure that we stayed within that time frame. But let's just go ahead and expound a little more on some of the points that we touched on. So I'll go first. I'm not going to name any names right now, but it was about 2 years ago, actually. There's a big organization, a well-known organization. They were putting together a collaborative book, and they were asking everyone to pay $1,300 to be in this book. And the book was supposed to come out in January of 2017. We're now January 2018, and the book hasn't come out yet. So, guys, when you're starting your business, just be very careful with investing, your money with certain organizations. Just make sure that you do your due diligence and you research companies thoroughly. Also challenge. When it comes to the integrity, when it comes to business integrity and business alignment, really challenge individuals to make sure that you're going to receive the results that you're looking for, and you're also going to basically get a bang for your buck in return. So
it's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we don't do our research, then we'll continue to do that. And if we don't share, then no one else knows what to look out for.
Right, exactly.
Okay. And I'm going to go with the budgeting part. I wanted to explain to you a little bit about budgeting and the mistakes that I made. When I first started business, I was just rushing to open a business, and the importance of having a budget, because what you having a budget aligned, it gives you an opportunity to know what you're running throughout the year, throughout the week, throughout the month, but having that goal and going through it. And I made a lot of mistakes because I just wanted to start the business, didn't do my homework on what it will cost for advertising, also what it will cost for me to have people on board. So just doing your homework when you're getting set up. You have to have a budget. It is very important to have one so you can be able to operate and not interfere with any finances that will help build the business. And it will also at least give you that not having that stress, because when you're not in a budget, then you're going to make mistakes, and just it just will help you with having a budget.
Another point that I touched on during our little 60-second intro was spending money on everything that didn't directly impact my bottom line. I like to say, when I first started the family brand movement, the whole pounding the pavement piece when it comes to building your business is my coding company. The way I acquire my clients on that end is totally different from the traditional business. So when I started the family brand movement, I was a novice, and I was green, and I was just so excited to get started and build my brand that I was spending money in all of the wrong places without really understanding principles, right? Understanding specific principles that needs to be implemented in your foundation in order for you to build that business up. And I ended up going broke. Like, I ran through my 401k. I had like $30,000 in my 401k, and I was just spending it in all of the wrong places, not understanding certain principles, definitely not understanding how marketing really works, not reading the right books before spending money, reading the right books and gaining the knowledge that's needed before you really start building your business from the ground up.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
The books, a lot of the books that we will be recommending, will give them a lot of nuggets there, and that'll help them. Also with me, with underbidding, one of the things I wanted to touch on with the mistakes that I've made was when I was submitting a contract, not going over the actual bid, and making sure that there was everything that I said I will provide, that was aligned on the contract. And I lost business. I also had a contractor, which I won't say his name. Yeah. But again, there wasn't documents. I did a job, and on that document, we didn't, sign and sealed where the responsibilities of that job was going to be and how many people I accounted for that job, the supplies. So a lot of the things that happen with that, not knowing what your actual numbers are, not knowing what's going to cost, not knowing also how many people you are going to have to be able to fit that job and then get the numbers together, you can be underbidding yourself on a job. So learning that, I don't run to every job that calls for our service.
Yeah.
And
now, when you speak about underbidding on the contracts, why don't you tell everyone that's viewing us right now, what business is this?
And that's for a janitorial cleaning service. We do a lot of turnkey cleaning. We work with a lot of contractors. And if you don't have documents in order and you're not following steps and following principles for what it is that you're supposed to apply, you'll lose money. You don't have the actual team involved that's going to be able to complete that job. So a lot of times moving fast and not counting what it takes to be able to provide that service, it'll be a loss for the business. And I encounter that for a long time.
Wow. So
just having documents signed,
documents.
Making sure you get paid on time.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a contractor that literally $17,000.
Wow.
And that was back in 2013. We were moving, getting these houses out of the way, and just moving and getting it. And again, the documents weren't looked. We weren't following the procedure that was needed. But we were just so engaged in, okay, they need these houses done. And now that I know, documents are signed.
Wow. So that was definitely a learning experience.
A very big one. It was a big hurt.
All right. So another point that I touched on was the activities in my business. People thought that the Family Brand Movement was a nonprofit, and it is not. It's actually a for-profit. And I would get that a lot. I remember I spoke at the Back to Business conference that's hosted every year by I forgot his name, but he was running for mayor. Caesar Mitchell. And I was speaking on the panel, and when I talked about the Family Brand Movement, after we spoke, so many people came up to me and they asked me, well, how do you make money? Is this a nonprofit? And I was like, wait a minute, no, it's not. And then I started to get that a lot. So just really being mindful about how you name your business, and also how you really having a business model and being very clear and very focused on how you're going to make money in your business. It's very, very important, because you don't want people to misunderstand your mission, your vision, and your purpose within your business. That's a really big deal.
That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on when you're doing scheduling, when you're scheduling your jobs and making sure you have the amount of people that will service the area that you have. One of the things that we've encountered was setting our geographical area as we were getting jobs in, and not confirming that when you service a property in the Stone Mountain area, to make sure that it is within the 10 to no more than 15 miles away, so you're not all over the place. And a lot of times we found ourselves going around in a circle, and it was because we weren't targeting the area that we wanted, marketing enough to make sure that we can, and just in that specific area, we're servicing 3 to 4 clients versus traveling an hour away and not having enough staff. So those were one of the things that really drove the team, out of line because of that, not having the actual marketing area.
Okay. And another point that I touched on was spending money with the wrong people, thinking that it was going to increase my business. Wow.
So,
I think that that when we sat down and we kind of calculated how much we've spent over time and just really investing in us, choosing some of the wrong coaches.
Yes.
Choosing some of the wrong coaches. And when I say choosing the wrong coaches, it doesn't necessarily mean that them as a coach was like they're not doing their job, but that alignment, not being so eager to align yourself with any and everyone. You have to really close yourself off And you have to really, again, challenge certain individuals, really scrub, and scrub their background, and really have a clear understanding on, if I invest with this person, are they really going to help increase my bottom line? But in order for them to increase my bottom line, I have to be very clear and keen-eye focused on the results that I need that's going to help my business catapult and take me to the next level. Because there's a lot of people out here that are just getting started themselves. So they can't really help you get to a level that they're not on, right? So just being very mindful of that.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That was definitely a lesson learned.
I know getting started, when I also was getting started, which is the personal development part, you know, I rushed to everyone. And not everyone, like you said, is aligned to you. So even if they want to bring out the best in you, they have to know where you're coming from. You know, what is that vision? Am I feeding that vision? And not just looking at a dollar sign. Right. You know, because sometimes it's more about a dollar sign to certain people. And again, for me, it's more, if I'm aligned to you, I need you to understand what it is that I want to bring out and who I want to cater, and what will we be providing. Right. Good information to have that transformation. And not everybody has that. Yeah. And then as an aspiring business owner or a business owner now, sometimes if you don't do your homework, you can just go to any coach. You know, you need to understand what it is that you're looking for. Right. Again, and that's in any business. And in anything you do, you have to understand that the research you're doing, what is your research? Who are the people you want to sit? Are they going to add on to the things that you have already set in your vision? Are they going to add on to that?
Right, and that's where that alignment piece comes in. You know, really just making sure, and not. When we talk about alignment, let's go back a little bit when I mentioned about the principles, right? There's certain principles that we must have in place, right? Now, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter what business you're building. Success is not a secret. Success is a system, right? And in order for you to tap into that system, there's certain principles that must be applied. Now, going back to what we were saying about some of the coaches, one of the principles is making sure that you provide more value than you receive in funds, in monetary value. So, for instance, if I write a book, right, and I price that book at $20, when my client, or not my client, but really my customers, when my customers or my supporters read that book, they should receive at least $200 in value. And we don't really get that too often. And that's where that alignment piece comes in, and really scrubbing, like I said, and challenging individuals that you want to work with. Like, what is the value that they're providing, and what am I going to get in return for my dollar amount? You know, like Lisa Nichols is one of our favorite online mentors. I call her Auntie. Right? I call her Auntie. And we invested in her speaking program that she has, an online speaking, where she speaking right. She teaches you how to take your speaking career to the next level. And the amount that we spent on that program, it's nothing compared to the value that we receive. So when you're building your businesses, that's one of the principles that we would really like for you to keep in mind, is always provide more value. Okay? Always provide more value than you receive. And when you apply just that one principle, you'll begin to see how your business shifts in so many different directions for the better. You know, if you find yourself coming across a stumbling block and you hit a roadblock in your business and you're like, okay, what's next? What do I do next? As long as you apply those principles, the vision will come to you, the answers will come to you, the clarity, the focus, the people will come to you, the resources will come to you, right? So don't stress out. And that's what we did. We stressed out about all of the technicalities because we weren't applying the principles.
But once we apply the principles, everything has been aligned. Like, once the vision came and we spoke to different people, you spoke to Shawnee D. And, just giving us an opportunity to come on the platform at Status Network, of course. And everything just literally just been coming in, again, following the steps, following the principles that we apply through our business, and just learning and even running throughout your day when you deal with people. Because running a business, you're going to encounter involving your emotions. So again, part of the principles, it'll teach you everything you need to do to run a successful business no matter what.
Definitely. So let's expound a little bit on some of these principles. So the first one was providing more value than you receive, right? What's another principle?
The providing value. The other one is attachment.
Attachment. Okay.
And with attachment, sometimes you have to learn when you have to let go of certain things.
Yes.
Running a business, sometimes we're serving people that no longer we can't serve because, unfortunately, either you have to change your prices or there's no change in them anymore. So sometimes you have to learn how to detach.
Another principle for building a very solid foundation is flow.
You have to remove some things.
Flow, decluttering, right? Decluttering our homes, decluttering our business offices,
our vehicles,
decluttering friends.
Yeah.
We have to declutter the old in order for the new to just flow in, right? So when we say the new, for an example, ideas, right? Ideas, like I mentioned before, when you hit that roadblock and you're unsure of the necessary steps to take to get your business to that next level, right? You've done as much as you can on that basic first step, right? But you're like, okay, I've done everything I could do here, but now I've hit a roadblock. How do I get to the next level?
And that's when, again, when you have those roadblocks and those days that you don't know where to move, that's when having a good support system that is aligned, that wants more in life, that comes in, those good conversations, that also invite you to those events and say, you know what, Matilda, I've been seeing you working so long. I have something that I can offer for you. Let me invite you to this event. And they're moving you forward. It's just, like I said, it's just surrounding yourself around people that want more and that'll help you add on to that vision. But if you're sitting around with the same people and, you're not talking about where you're going, what's the next 3 years or next 12 months going to look like, sometimes you're stuck. Yeah. And you want more, so you then lower yourself down to be accepted. But sometimes, like with the energy of flow, that's what I learned when I received that at the retreat was, gotta let go of some people, and it felt so good because I was like, yes. So
all right, so we have a comment here. Amara says, my mistakes was not asking enough questions. Oh my God, clarifications on things. Yes. So asking questions. Yes, let's expound on that for a moment. Amara, if you're still tuned in with us, thank you for tuning in, by the way. DeMarcus, thank you for tuning in.
Hey, DeMarcus.
Hi, Shawnee D.
Hey, Shawnee D.
Tuning in. Asking questions. We don't ask questions, especially when we're new in business. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because we're shy or we have a sense of fear.
I was eager to get ready to get the job, so I was like, oh my God, I got a business. But it is important to ask the right questions.
It's very important to ask questions, but asking questions goes into challenge.
Yes.
Challenging certain individuals that you are looking to work with.
Yes.
Challenging certain individuals that are giving you information and you're not clear or you don't have a full understanding. It's okay to ask questions. See, the thing about it is, and again, see, you'll notice some certain keywords. Here goes alignment again, right? If you are divinely aligned to work with a specific individual, they won't mind you asking questions. Correct. Matter of fact, they'll provide all of the information that you need to make sure that you're clear, right, on your steps. So always ask questions. Don't be fearful.
No, not at all.
That's another thing in business, especially for women. Okay, so I'm talking to my women. I I have a lot of online male mentors, Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, Max Maxwell. I have a lot of men. I like to follow the men because they know how to they know how to handle their business.
Okay? Out of their emotions.
But they're not in their emotions.
Not
like
at
they
all.
say, it's not personal, it's only business. But as women, we're emotional creatures just by nature, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we have to learn how to separate the two.
Correct.
When it comes to business.
Yes.
One thing is, you don't always have your teeth out. Don't always have your teeth out. Say what you mean what you say. Be very clear about what you want. Because when you're very clear, the force of the universe will support that clarity.
Yes.
And bring you what you need. Okay? So be mindful of that. And fear. Let's talk about fear, because fear crippled me a couple of times in my business when it was time to have business meetings and make certain decisions. I was fearful because I felt like the people I was meeting with were on a higher level than me. And I didn't ask questions, like Amara said. Yes. And I was just one of those, okay, yes. I was a yes man. And that can get you in trouble. That can cause you to lose a lot of money. That can also cause you to not make money, not make what you're worth. So do not be afraid. Fear is not even real. There's no such thing as fear. And when you're fearful, what you're the energy that you emit when you are fearful, you emit that energy out into the universe. So now what you're doing is you're stifling what is yours. You know, you're stifling your growth, your next level. So just get rid of the fear. I know that's a process that a lot of us have to work through. It is a process. It took me a long time. But once you work through that and you push through that and you're very clear on what you want and you say what you want and you move on that, you'll see how your business, it'll explode from there.
It will.
Yeah.
It will. That's one of the things that, and that's good that you touched on that with fear, because that's what keeps us from not moving forward on a business idea. Just worrying about what anyone else would say. But as my partner said here, you know, as long as you have clarity and you know that you want that thing, whatever it is that you're working hard and you're applying principles and applying the tools that you need to make sure that it's successful, and you give it all your energy, it'll happen. Yes. And then aligning yourself with people and also reading those books that are going to help you get there.
Reading books. Reading books. All right, so we're getting ready to take a break. But before we go into break, I really want to touch on that. Reading books. You know, I get inboxes all the time about, you know, this is what I'm interested in doing. How do I get started? Or, you know, I want to write a book, but there's this individual that's saying they charge $3,500 to help me write the book, to publish it, to market it. Should I do it? And the first thing I always say is whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether it's start a book, start a cleaning company, start a medical coding company, purchase a book
in that area,
in that particular industry. Correct. Or that area.
Mm-hmm.
Mentors, coaches, books. And what I mean by that is not an actual physical person being your mentor or your coach, but your book is a mentor and a coach, right? You can purchase a book for $15 and it'll be literally like $1 million worth of value in there and information that you can literally highlight, abstract certain information.
And create great notes.
Yes, transfer it into your notes and apply it in your everyday life. And you're like, oh, wait a minute, I don't need to spend $1,500 on a coach. I had everything I needed right in this book for $15. Read. Over-educate yourself. Over-educate yourself before you decide to spend a dime on anything or anyone. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and take a short break. We'll be back, guys.
This is a Kelly Boy production.
Welcome back to 60 Seconds Entrepreneur. I am your co-host, Matilda, talking to you on a wellness tip for today. I want to share a wellness tip, and it's going to be based on home business owners that work from home and also service providers. As we know, as an entrepreneur, having a home-based business and working from home, when you work from home, I want you to understand that you also have to apply the same aspect that you apply when you're working for a 9 to 5, making sure that at least every hour you're able to take time to stretch. As has been known and is showing around that a lot of us that work from home and our service providers driving, we can have a lot of issues with our body. And a lot of it can be because we're not stretching and we're sitting in a certain area, so the posture, it becomes a problem. So I just want to make sure that you take that time. It is essential to take that time to stretch your body.
And I work from home. I run my business from home, and that's very important because I do have back pain and arm pain because I'm working on my computer. And I don't have the proper desk to really prop my arms up correctly. So this arm right here hurts. So when I go to the gym with Matilda, right, I'm always crying about this arm pain. And I have really bad lower back pain. And it's because, some days I work, 16, 18 hours just sitting at the desk. And I do take my breaks, but when I take a break, I'm running errands. So I'm not really stretching. Things of that nature. And another important thing is talk about snacking.
Yeah, and as you're sitting, just like I explained, having your meals prepared ahead of time. So like that, even if you're running a little late, you have to be on a meeting, on a call, and that call can take you a whole hour or so, hour and a half. But at least you know that once you're off that call, you get to stretch because, like I said, it's very, very detrimental to your health. Just sitting in the posture and not moving, as time develops, you're going to have a lot of back pain. And, like just taking your 15 minutes in between, drinking your water, staying hydrated. Sometimes I call Lyve and I say, did you eat? Well,
right.
not
but
yet.
let's tell them why it's important to eat the right foods when you're working, for long hours or sitting up for long hours. What type of foods should they be eating, and why is it important?
Well, the foods that you should be able to be eating while you're working from home are just healthy meals. You prepare your meals with great nutrients. You want to make sure you have it all set up proportionally. You want to make sure you're drinking your water, you're taking your vitamins. You are taking time to, like I said, every 2 or 3 hours you're eating. You still step away and have your meals, accordingly to what you're doing throughout the day. And if it's just sitting, you don't want to just eat burgers, fries, and sit, and but you want to make sure you're having your shakes, your nutrients, you're having your greens, a good salad. And that would allow you to continue throughout the day to function while you're reading or handling a meeting. You're not hydrated. You're not tired. You're fueled to manage throughout the day. So eating and following with your nutrition is going to help you run your business and also produce throughout the day.
I went live earlier this week. I believe it was either on Wednesday or Thursday, and I went live, and I talked a little bit about why we should really be mindful about the foods that we're putting in our mouth. It's the new year now, and so many of us, we have our resolutions of eating and working out because we go in it with the mindset of, I just want to be fine. I just want to have a six-pack. I want to be toned. I want to be able to flex my muscles. And all of that is great. That is going to automatically happen when you eat the right foods and you exercise, because it's just a part of the deal, right? It's just a part of the recipe. But the analogy I used was a apple tree, okay? And not just, I used the analogy apple tree, but it's really everything that grows from the earth, all of our fruits and our vegetables. Our fruits and our vegetables are in direct alignment with God, the universe, the higher power, right? Whatever you want to call it. And when our fruits and our vegetables are growing, the knowledge of the universe, right? That infinite intelligence, that wisdom and that brilliance that we need to come into us, right? We need to receive those downloads when we're building our businesses or when we're just trying to figure out our place in life, right? Our day-to-day, just living every day. When we eat the apple from the tree, when it falls from the tree, or when we eat any fruit or vegetable, we're not to really ingest it to say, okay, I'm hungry. This is going to cure my hunger pain. We are to eat our foods knowing that we're ingesting the knowledge, infinite brilliance, infinite intelligence, right? And when we start looking at our foods that way, it is so much easier to stick to our diet.
And it becomes
it's so much easier because you're like, I'm not really eating this because I'm hungry. I'm really eating this because I'm fueling my body with the right nutrients so that my mind can be clear, so that I can have prosperous thoughts, so that I can have successful thoughts, therefore yield a prosperous and a successful business.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
That is why it's important, to always make sure that you're, staying fueled up with your meals, making sure that you're drinking your water. If you're at home, make sure you're stretching your body. Take time to have your 15-minute break. Stretch. Stretch that body.
Stretch that body. All right, so before I read some of the comments, I want to talk a little bit about the Status Network Media Mixer that is coming up on January 13th, which is next Sunday. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it because I won't be in town, but I would love for you guys to come on out. It is going to be here. They have the flyer up with all of the information, and it is from 4 to 7 p.m. There's going to be a lot of networking for businesses. So for those of you
please come out.
Please come out. If you're here in the Atlanta area, come on out to Status Network. Meet other business-minded individuals like yourself and network. You know what they say? Your net worth
is your network.
It's your network. And there it is. So make sure you come on out, guys. Free food, free parking.
Yes.
All right. So let's jump into these comments.
What they saying?
Let's see what our people are saying. Okay. Shani D, shout out to you, darling. Shani D says, how do you build your credit score back up after hitting a low score? Very easy, Shani D. Very easy. I actually experienced that when I talked a little bit about when I spent all of my money out of my 401k trying to build a business, didn't even really understand certain principles, and I went broke. And another thing that I did too, I'm going to get to that, Shawnee D, but another thing that I did too, I was so focused. Well, not at that time. I didn't really apply the specific certain way principles.
But you set up a plan, because I remember you saying, this is the plan that I'm going to set, and you set a plan because you knew that you had to increase your score, but to work on the plan as well.
Oh, I'm getting to that. But what I was saying is that another thing that I don't want you guys to do, please do not do this. And this is what I did, which led me to going broke. I bounced back, but I went broke, okay? Yes. And I don't want you guys to do this, because I see people say this all the time. You're working on that 9 to 5, you need to start a business. But for one thing, if you don't know how to be an employee, you won't know how to be a business owner, because when you're a business owner, you are your own manager. You have to look over yourself. You have to know how to set your schedules. You have to know how to stick to your schedules. You have to know how to be on time to meetings, okay? Because time is money, right? So the same way you can't show up late on your job, you can't show up late on these conference calls, you can't show up late at these business meetings, okay? And then another thing, when you're when you're building your business, you still have bills to pay, and you're probably not going to make any money within the first year or two, okay? So you still need your job to take care of your everyday expenses. And that was something that I neglected my primary income to build the second business. So that led to a downward spiral. But in the midst of that, because I went broke, there were certain bills that I wasn't able to pay, and my credit score went from a 720 to a 528. So Shawnee, to answer your question, how to build your credit score back up. So I'll give you some pointers. when you're working on building it back up, one thing you can do is write a goodwill letter to some of your creditors. Write a goodwill letter, just letting them know that hey, life happens. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is going to be able to pay their bills on time every day for all of their lifespan, right? Yes. So you just write them a goodwill letter, explaining to them, letting them know, I understand that I wasn't able to pay certain bills on time because I experienced a hardship. Maybe you lost your job, or maybe you were sick and you just weren't able to do it. Just write a goodwill letter, have it notarized, and mail it out to all of the creditors. And some of them, what they'll do is they'll remove some of those negative marks that they place on your credit report. Some of them will do that, okay? Another thing you can do is get you a credit builder's credit card, right? Get you a credit rebuilding credit card. A credit rebuilding credit card, and stay at 30%. The utilization rate should be at 30% or lower, okay? So what that means is if you have a credit card and the limit is $300, then you should be spending no more than $90 a month. And make sure that you pay the full balance off 5 days before the due date, not on the due date, 5 days before. And if you do that for 3 to 6 months, your score will jump up tremendously. So those are 2 points that will help you. Shani is asking, how do you bounce back from the fall of growth in your vision? Very easy. Just sit still.
Yes.
Just sit still. If you fall off of the growth in your vision, that means that you need to just sit still. Meditate. Reflect on your next level. Yes. Reflect on your next step. Reflect on, you always have to begin with the end in mind, right? So what that means is, what is the end goal for you? What does the finish line look like for you, right? Having a net worth of $100 million, having your own private jet, whatever that end looks like, envision that and sit still. Don't move. Connect with the divine one and the answers will come to you.
He'll drop them.
Like golden nuggets. Amara says, powerful. Thank you, Amara. Thank you, Amara. Elliot says, readers are leaders. Absolutely, absolutely. And I think he probably commented, he said this when we were talking about reading, right? Before you spend any dime, get a book, right? Shani D says, good stuff. Thanks, Shani D. Amara says, yeah, I was in my way to get the business. Okay, I was on my way to get the business license for my personal care home. Long story short, they couldn't find the address in the computer, and because I was dealing with Medicare, they couldn't issue the license to me. The owners of the home that I paid 6 months rent to did not properly input the address in the courts. Okay. So it seems like there was some sort of roadblock with that. Again, whenever you come across any type of stumbling or roadblock, when you're very clear about what it is that you want, when you come across roadblocks, that just means that it's not for you, or that's not the route you're supposed to take. So don't be discouraged when things don't go your way. All that means is that I know this is what you want, but you're going right when you're supposed to go left. Or you're looking for this certain individual to help you, but that's not the person that's in divine alignment on your path. Okay, so I hope that answered your question. All right, so that was all of the comments. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
When they follow our page, too, we're going to go ahead and follow up on 60 Second Entrepreneur page. If you're not on Facebook, please follow us. We're also going to add on some more information on today's show. And any other questions that you have, we'll also make sure to reply to you.
Yes. All right. So we're getting ready to wrap up. This has been fun, our first show. But before we do, every show, towards the end of the show, we will have a book recommendation for you guys. As Dr. Elliott said, readers are leaders. And this is so true. Like the saying, it's so true that if you want to hide information from the masses, put it in a book. Currently right now we're reading The Science of Getting Rich. And when I tell you it's so much nuggets in that book, it's
How many pages on that book? It's like
We'll talk about that on another show. But the recommendation book for today, guys, is Rework. This is a really, really great book, especially considering the times that we're in right now when it comes to business. We got Airbnb, right? Completely destroying the hotel industry. Uber completely destroyed the taxi industry. So Rework, just a little synopsis of Rework, is basically just telling you that you can build your business your way. You don't have to do it the traditional or the old way. You know, just taking what you're good at, taking some basic foundations, applying certain principles, and putting the authentic you into your brand and into your business. So for those of you, if you haven't read this book, pick up a copy. It's a really good book. It's a business book, and it just really sheds a lot of insight on how you can build your business your way, right? How you can build your business your way. So Rework, the authors are Jason Fried and David Hanson. A really, really good read. So this is the recommended book for our show today. Any last words you would like to share?
Well, I just want to make sure that you guys stay tuned, share our page, and our goal is to continue to inspire you on your journey to entrepreneurship. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Thank you again to Amara, DeMarcus, Shawnee D, Dr. Elliott. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Happy New Year again, guys.
Happy New Year. And let us know what you want to see. Just go on our page and just give us
follow our page at 60 Second Entrepreneur. You can also join our group at 60 Second Entrepreneur. You can follow us on Instagram at 60second_ENT and just connect with us. But definitely if you join our group, that's where we're pretty active. We teach off of the Science of Getting Rich. We teach off of those principles. And guys, when I tell you that you want to get a copy of that book and start applying the principles, I promise you'll see a shift in all aspects of your life. But go ahead and join us on all platforms at 60 Second Entrepreneur.
We'll see you soon.
Happy New Year again, guys.
Take care.
Take care.